والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has granted us the tawfiq and the ability to have performed our Maghrib Salah with Jama'ah, alhamdulillah. So Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the beautiful hadith mentioned, Man alif al-masjid, alifahu Allah, that the person who loves the masjid, the house of Allah, in return he will earn the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we ask Allah to make the masajid beloved to us, so that we can become beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. This evening, a beautiful hadith. Last week we spoke about the hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he reminded us about the wealthy heart and the poor heart. This evening, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says that قلب الشيخ شاب على حب اثنتين طول الحياة وحب المال. Imam Bukhari narrated this hadith. He mentioned Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that the heart of an old man is young in its love for two things. The heart of an old man is young in its love for two things. The first thing, long life, and the second, the love for wealth. So the heart of an old person, says Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, no matter how old, no matter how young, one of the natural things in love in the heart of any person is his love for a longer life and his love for more wealth. It's the words of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the author mentioned it beautifully. He says that life has many inconvenient facts, and aging is one of its major ones. We can ignore the fact as long as we are young and healthy. We know it's true, but it's very far off with ourselves. We know that it's becoming old, it is part of life, but every young person, a person with health, he tells himself that I'm still far away. I'm not going to get old now. Until suddenly, old age catches up with him. And he brings a famous statement from Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal says, rahimahullah, that ما شبهت الشباب إلا بشيء كان في كمي فسقطه. He says, young age is truly like a thing. I had it in my pocket and it fell out. Youth is something like I had it in my pocket and then it fell out. So quickly, the time of youth passed by. So quickly the time of youth passed by the person. So the author of the hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is reminding us that as we go older and as we grow older, we should see that what is attached to our hearts, what is the heart inclining for, and what is the heart wanting and desiring. What is the things that is increasing in the heart of love? What is the heart attaching itself to? And that's why he brings the ayah. And this should always be a verse in the Quran, a very important verse, in where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes, and Allah says that حتى إذا بلغ أشده وبلغ 40 سنة قال رب أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this ayah in the Quran that, and many ulama has mentioned that this is the time in your life where youth, it comes to an end. The youth of a person comes to an end. Also, this is the time in the life where you need to introspect in terms of his relationship with Allah. This is a time in his life when life should be taken serious. And this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when a person reaches maturity and when he reaches the age of 40. When he reaches the age of 40, says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he reaches the age of 40, the ulama has mentioned, now you have completed 2/3 of your life. 2/3 of your life is past. Many of us, we're heading towards 40, some are also going towards 40. Some are way over 40 already. So we need to ask ourselves, what are the things that is attached to my heart? What are the things that is still connected in this heart? And he says that when a person reaches the age of 40, now there should be a shift in the life of the heart of a person. And that's why the dua mentioned in this ayah where Allah says, When a person reaches the age of 40, he says, قَالَ رَبِّ أَوْزِعْنِي أَنْ أَشْكُرَ نِعْمَتَكَ الَّتِي أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيَّ وَعَلَى وَالِدَيَّ. Oh Allah, grant me the ability to show gratitude for the ni'mas that you have bestowed upon me and my parents. So now a person must become grateful for the ni'mas and for the bounties Allah has given to him. And not only for your bounties, for the bounties of your parents as well. Because why also for the parents? Because whatever your father worked for and attained in this dunya, you as a child, we benefited directly from them. So we need to make shukr for their ni'mas and bounties as well. So we need to, at the age of 40 and over, we need to start showing gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The heart shouldn't only be inclined towards increase of wealth, increase of blessings, increase of ni'mas. Rather, this now should be the time for increasing and have gratitude to Allah. And then secondly says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَأَنْ أَعْمَلَ صَالِحًا تَرْضَىٰ. And Allah grant me the ability to do righteous deeds. Now a person needs to introspect that what type of actions do I do? How do I spend my day? How do I spend my night? How much time do I spend in obedience of Allah? And how much do I do that is displeasing to Allah? This is a time where his actions, there should be a change in his actions, says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to grant the actions, to do deeds that you are pleased with, Ya Rabb. وَأَصْلِحْ لِي فِي ذُرِّيَّتِي. The third one, oh Allah, grant me the ability and grant me offspring that will be pious as well. So now the focus should be to our children. What type of children am I going to leave behind? Am I raising children that will be one day, when I close my two eyes, will they be continuing believing in Allah, continuing with worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And then Allah says, إِنِّي تُبْتُ إِلَيْكَ وَإِنِّي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Oh Allah, I turn to you. That's why ulama mentioned, this is the age of tawbah, where a person must make sincere tawbah to turn around his life. Whatever before the age of 40, and yeah, I'm not saying wait till the age of 40. We don't know if we're going to live till 40. We need to do it way before we reach the age of 40. Turn around our life, says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Turn around and for seeking the forgiveness of Allah. Turn around in tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and correct our life. So the first desire, says Rasulullah, our desire for long life will always be in the heart of a person. But the desire for long life, it should be, as Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, when we desire long life, it shouldn't only be to increase our wealth, but rather, oh Allah, grant me a long life in your obedience so I can have more opportunity to worship you, Ya Allah. So I get more opportunity to worship you. And then also the heart also shouldn't only be connected to the wealth and the increase of wealth. When we reach that age, as the Hadeeth mentioned, over the age of 40, going to 60, these are the age when a person is no more in our youth. So there needs to be a visible change in terms of how we present ourselves to Allah, how we live as men and women in this dunya. I cannot be in my 40s and still behave like in my 20s and do the things I used to do in my 20s. Then I'm being irresponsible with the age and the time and the life Allah has given to us. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that as we grow old and as we become more mature in this dunya, with that maturity and with that age, should be, as we get older, we should move closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because in reality, we are moving closer to Allah in terms of our life. Our life is becoming shorter and closer to meeting Allah. And as we become closer to meeting Allah, we should increase in a'mal, increase in good deeds, increase in our tawbah, increase in gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us a tawfiq and understanding. Wa akhir da'wan alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.